I'm Crystal Paco, and welcome to another edition of The Good Life, a show where we highlight all that's so good about our beautiful island. We start with a night of passion and intensity, as Humanity's Guam recently hosted an internationally recognized dance troupe to Guam to perform at their annual gala.
Communicate with the animals, the plants, the birds. So I have to be this big seed in the ground. If you help it a little bit nurturing, it gives you something. That's beautiful, beautiful.
Rulan Tongan is the founder and creator of Dancing Earth, an intertribal indigenous dance company from the U.S. mainland. The company is internationally recognized for its artistic innovation, creative and cultural consciousness, and focus on environmental justice through artistic movement.
The whole thing about, belly buttons and your sense of belonging. So it's interesting to talk about those things that establish your place in this universe. I think for many of us who are from this region, the Colorado Plateau.
Tongan, who hails from New Mexico, has been dancing all her life, but in 2003, after being diagnosed with cancer, she stopped living to dance and is now dancing to live.
There was a day when I was deep in this battle with cancer that I wasn't sure if I was alive or dead. I had no more muscles, most of the skin on my face was burnt off, and I had no more hair. That was my indigenous identity, my long hair. But what I could see was that my chest was moving. So I figured, oh, that rise and fall, that must be breath. So that must mean I'm alive. And it was movement that made me realize that I was still alive. So at that moment, I understood that movement is life. And like millennia of indigenous peoples here, where I'm from, and all across the world, these peoples danced life. They danced life into being. They danced the sun into rhythm with the moon into rhythm with water, the water into rhythm with seeds, the seeds into rhythm with becoming corn. Corn wants to collaborate with squash and beans and sunflower. And that all brings us into renewal. So at that point I understood that from then on the purpose of dance for me would be able to create dances that would bring life forward. Not just for myself, but for all of life.
Every move is performed with intention and purpose, telling a story meant to inspire generations.
You're going to see seeds regeneration. It starts with us honoring the Chamorro people by giving them the first stance on stage. Then you'll see us become mountains. You'll see the 4 sacred mountains of the Dene Navajo people come in, and you'll see us bury our umbilical cords at the mountains. That's how we stay connected to our sacred sites. From there, we move into a dance low down on the ground that shows the soil becoming active, and then the 4-legged, and then we are in a talking circle where you're going to hear little glimpses. You might barely hear it, but it's our elders, their spoken word of the stories that they asked us to share. Those stories lead us to the creation story of the condors with the long, beautiful wings, and then you're going to see our ancestors who were foragers, planters, and hunters on stage. You see them pass that knowledge onto contemporary young people. And then you'll see the water become toxic. We come to our modern times with our water under threat. And even though this dance was made long before Standing Rock, you'll see us dancing the fight for the protection of water. And just like in Standing Rock, we were told by our elders that the fight is about being rooted in prayer, in perseverance and patience. And at that point, the water comes back, and there's no one more beautiful to show the water dances than the Chamorro people. From the revival of the water, the earth will become renewed. You'll see the living earth give birth to corn, beans, squash, and sunflower. What we found here was a culture of kindness. And every place we go, there's, whether some people it's about discipline, other people maybe it's humor. we found that kindness was the most common thing that we found with everybody. And it's not a common thing, actually. It was what you had as common ground. But to have kindness that informs your thoughts, your words, your actions, your habits, your character, and becomes your destiny. We are so glad to flow with you in this culture of kindness that you've shown us.
Stay tuned. Next on The Good Life, the Filipino community of Guam celebrates its 63rd anniversary. We're heading to the Dusitani Guam Resort coming up next. Day and welcome back to The Good Life. The Filipino community of Guam celebrates its 63rd anniversary in style by hosting its first ever Guam Philippines fashion show.
It was a celebration like no other for the Filipino community of Guam.
And we know that over the years, when you come to these celebrations, typically people expect to hear long speeches and a bunch of different things that I don't think is going to be captivating for the audience. And so we said to ourselves, what can we do to make this captivating for our audience? Well, we gave out awards, so we recognized Filipinos and their accomplishments in their respective fields. We also added a little bit of entertainment. And the entertainment came in the form of singers and, of course, this fashion show.
It wasn't just any fashion show. The FCG invited some of the best-known designers from the Philippines. Nat Manilag, Edgar San Diego, Richard Papa, Ramon Santiago, and Francis Liberon.
My collection, I love making formal wear. So I always think of the red carpet and even beauty pageants. So as you can see, the flow, the silhouette of my collection, it's sexy and it really defines the figure of a woman.
My inspiration for this collection is the kite in flight. Yes, because if you notice the silhouette is very airy and flowing, and at the same time I was influenced by the Muslim malong, so it's a bit Mindanao. Because when you spread the kite, the dress, or rather, you can tie it like a malong as well and have another look. So that's the main inspiration of the whole collection.
My concept is the Filipino Fiesta. My clothes are very colorful, very playful, and I've used indigenous fabric like the Abel Iloco, which is a hand-woven fabric from Ilocos Norte.
My collection, well, it started for doing neoclassic Filipiniana, and I get my inspiration from the fabric that is organdy, and I mix that with the vintage laces and a lot of stones and beads. I concentrate on ball skirts because that it's so much hot back in our place in the Philippines, that skirt, and I'm doing it for the Filipiniana look.
I describe my work as more linear. I love lines, I love architecture, so I'm inspired with Art Deco patterns, architectural patterns, and that's where I draw my inspiration from.
The gala also showcased the launch of Analista and Company.
It's really weird, maybe weird is not the right word, but it's really interesting how things kind of fall into place. You know, my wife and I have always been interested in wearing a unique clothing or unique or clothes that, truly represent our personalities, and then we found a way to turn it into a brand, and so we developed Analista and Company as sort of a design house because we feel that there's no company on Guam that can address those sort of needs. And we thought that tonight could be a way to showcase our talent and also at the same time show our clients on the runway and prove to people that you don't have to look like your typical model. You can look like the boy or the girl next door and still put on exquisite pieces and then at the same time transform your look to fit the occasion.
Aside from the fashion show, several awards were given out recognizing Filipinos on Guam who have made significant contributions to the community. One of those who received an award was KUAM's Nestor Lacanto for his work in the local media.
It's time for another break, but still to come, we're gonna head to the Red Ball. But first, let's check out highlights from the annual Wine Festival recently held at the Hyatt Regency Guam.
Wish that you could build a time machine so you could see the things no one can see. Feels like you're standing on the edge, looking at the stars and wishing you were them. What do you do when a chapter ends? Do you close the book and never read it again? Where do you go when your story's done? You can be who you were or who you'll become. Whoa, if it all goes wrong. Whoa, darling, just hold on. The sun goes down and it comes back up. The world, it turns no matter what. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If it all goes wrong, darling, just hold on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Darling, just hold on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's not over till it's all been said. It's not over until you die in bed. So what do you want them to say when?
Today and welcome back to The Good Life. Again, I'm your host, Crystal Paco. Hundreds of people were seeing red, all in an effort to raise money for a worthy cause.
It's one of the biggest events of the year, the annual American Red Cross Guam Chapter Red Ball. Hundreds filled the ballroom at the Dusitani Guam Resort to raise money for the non-profit organization. This year's theme for the Red Ball was 101 Reasons. This is in recognition of the 101st anniversary of the American Red Cross. Serving as chair of the 2017 Red Ball was Docomo Pacific President and Chief Executive Officer Jonathan Kriegel. Kriegel is not originally from Guam but was born in Puerto Rico.
It's also a place that has experienced its fair share of natural disasters. And tonight, as I think of my family in St. Thomas in Puerto Rico, who are struggling to recover from two hurricanes, from Irma and Maria, two major storms that hit over a 2-week period, I am deeply grateful to know that the Red Cross is rushing to their aid and bringing them hope at a dark time. It's easy to forget about the Red Cross when life is smooth and the sun is shining on our island. The last major typhoon to hit Guam was over a decade ago. But the Red Cross remains as critical today as it ever was.
Annually, the American Red Cross on average responds to nearly 20 single-family home fires and flash floods. In 2016, the Guam chapter trained over 1,300 individuals in first aid and CPR courses, and over 120 were trained in water safety and lifeguard courses. The Guam chapter also delivered more than 1,200 messages for our men and women in the military through the Service to Armed Forces program. The local chapter also installed almost 300 smoke alarms in at-risk homes island-wide. Additionally, the Guam chapter continues to train children between the 3rd and 5th grade in disaster preparedness.
Coming up next, we're getting chocolate wasted at DFS Galleria, but first, let's celebrate Diwali! Fashion, flavor, and a whole lot of fun. A perfect way to describe the launch of Godiva's new collection.
Well, we're very excited tonight right? Because we are actually the first to launch this Godiva Discovery Box 28-piece. It's actually a collaboration with Godiva and DFS, and we're very excited to have Miss Anne Sophie here with us. She actually graces with her presence, and she also has wonderful pieces of art. She takes different types of materials and also puts them together, and it's her own personalities.
It was a night of flavor and fashion because along with the debut of Godiva's new luxury chocolates, fashion designer Sophie Anne Kochevalou designed 4 dresses inspired by the new collection. DFS General Manager Renee Krishom.
Most recently, Ms. Kochevalou was featured in London Fashion Week in 2013 for her creation of a lingo dress. And Godiva has asked her to do the exact same thing with their new Godiva Gold Discovery collection. So we're very excited at DFS for the long partnership that we've had with Godiva, and this collaboration further strengthens the relationship we have with the brand. We're excited here on Guam because we are the first DFS location in the world of DFS to have this traveling fashion show. I'm super excited just to be able to have a world-renowned designer here on the island to bring this fashion show to you.
Kochevalou is an East London-based French fashion, costume, and jewelry designer and performance maker.
So basically it's all the elements from the new collection applied to the dress. So taking the color codes, like the brown and the gold, and all the packaging, so the boxes, the ribbon, and also the inside paper. In my personal work, I try to create wearable art with upcycling material. So usually I take, already used object or fabric or products, so boxes or toys or like plastic material. So this, I've just been applying the concept to a luxury brand, which kind of take it to a next level. It's been an amazing opportunity to work with the Tea Galleria and DFS and Godiva, because they really trusted me. They just approved the design without really knowing what I was capable of. So for them, I really thank them for giving me this amazing opportunity.
And that's going to do it for us here on The Good Life. Until next time, be good, Guam.